the newcomers is going to help you the most?
Well, I'm really pleased with this class so far, and even though it's just been fall conditioning and individual workouts, I think a lot of them can. I think that certainly Mikal Herbert, when he gets fully healthy, he can be a contributor. Our big guys up front, Ryan and Ray, they give us something we haven't had before. Jonathan Stark, he can play the point guard position as a guy, and then Josh and Cam. They give us size and shooting ability from the wing we haven't had. So we're going to be a different team, and I would look as we go through, November, October, for this team to change several different times.
Did you have matchup problems with bigger teams last year?
Oh, no question, and not just up front, but even in the backcourt or other spots. When we went to the bench in years past, we didn't really have a big physical presence, and that's where guys like Josh Hurley, Cameron Reynolds, and they're 6'6", 6'7", Peyton Henson, those guys just bring more of a size, to the backcourt and the wing positions.
What do you think about the earlier start to team practices?
I'm excited, and I think this year it really, obviously, I think it benefits this team. What we'll be able to do is spread the practices out more, and therefore we can have more live reps in practice because we can take time off in between the practices because there's more time to prepare for the season, and that's really what this young team needs, I think. We've got young, healthy bodies. We need to get out there and bang a little bit and have some live repetitions.
Will you play 10 or 11?
I think so. I think especially early, before we settle into maybe, a smaller rotation, but early on, I think you're going to see young guys developing at different rates, but I think you'll see the potential right from the outset, and so you'll want to get those guys on the court and get them some game action.
Of your returnees, where do you see the leadership coming from?
Couldn't be more pleased with the off season that guys like Trey Dry, Lou Dabney, Jay Hook, and have had, and I think that they, I think certainly Lou brings a toughness and a competitive nature to it. Trey and Jay have been with us, and now as juniors. I think those guys really have emerged as kind of the leaders of this group.
After the events of last spring, I don't want to use the word panic, but there's a lot of concern about what was going on. Do you feel that how much of that ground do you feel you've made up, Coach?
Well, at the time, I think maybe perspective, was a little skewed on just where we were. I thought there was some great momentum in our program, going from 13 to 15 to 20 wins. The fact that we showed we could recruit and develop players like Ricky Tarrant, Josh Davis. I think the basketball world understood there was momentum. And then other people you could visibly see the facilities, the Hurt Center, Devlin Fieldhouse. And then with the new league, a year from now, the American, I think, I had confidence that we would be able to recover and sign some really good players and put together a nice roster for this year, and I think we have. I think maybe those that, focused on other things maybe took their eye off the momentum that we had created.
Of the 8 new recruits this year, they're from 6 different states and 2 different countries. Is recruiting on a national level something that is important, especially with the move to the American next year?
Well, I do think it's important. I've always said I want to be strong close to home, first and then branch out. But we do have a national name. And again, I think that people do recognize what's going on here, from a facility upgrade, a change of leagues, and the things we've been able to do in our first 3 years. So it is attractive to students across the country.
What's the response been as you've gone out on the road since the announcement last November, in terms of how you've been received? Have you gotten into places you haven't been able to get to before?
Yeah, I think it's been tremendous, and I think it's reflected, first and foremost in the guys that signed in the spring. They were well aware of that we were going to be changing leagues and going into the American, and are excited about it. And now as we continue to move forward and it becomes more of a reality, I think recruits are getting more and more excited each day. I think by the end of this year, when people see how talented that league is and how many NCAA bids they get and the TV exposure that the American affords, then I think the momentum will really pick up.
Coach, any chance that you will play games downtown at all?
Yeah, there's a chance, and we've done it in the past. It's something, I like to do. Obviously, I love the home court that is Devlin, and I love the location on campus, but I think there's a package going forward that, both venues can be really useful for us.
Case on Mac, have a little surgery. What's the prognosis for when you'll be back?
He's going to be out there running around a little bit today, maybe not in full contact, but he's already cleared enough that he can be out there moving.
What was he surgery for?
Hurt his ankle, yeah. So.
Last year, Tulane ranked 269th in assists per game, and Ricky Tarrant transferred. Who do you think could fill that void as a point guard and possibly improve on that number?
Well, I think you'll see a very different team this year in a lot of aspects. And I think one of the things you'll see is that they're just more balanced. Whereas we had some guys last year that might be really good in a certain skill, I think you'll see players that are a little bit more versatile, this year and what they can do. We might not be as good off the bounce, off the dribbles as we were last year. Therefore, we could score at the rim. Maybe didn't need to get as many assists. I think we'll have more guys that can shoot the basketball this year, more guys that can score inside. So that lends itself to more of a passing type game.
Has anyone emerged as a potential primary ball handler yet?
Oh, several of them. I think when you look at Lou Dabney and Jonathan Stark and Cole Curry and some of those guys, we'll be just fine out front of the guard positions. I'm very confident of that.
Coach Hummel, last year you were a very streaky team. I mean, you go on runs and they go on runs. I know you like to keep the good streaks, but what do you think to eliminate some of the other stuff that the other team was doing?
There's no question. It made sort of some roller coaster type moments last year with the personality of our team. And I think this year's team, again, I think they're more balanced as basketball players. Where we might not have that extreme skill of being able to take anybody off the dribble. They can score in more of a variety of ways. We can play of a more balanced attack, and I think the consistency across the board, where we might have relied on one or two players at certain times, now I think 5 guys executing as a team, and hopefully we can iron out and smooth out some of those inconsistent moments.
Good, guys. Thank you, Coach.